Despite concerns from Democrats regarding inflation, President Donald Trump just confirmed he will sign an executive order imposing tariffs on China on day one in office. In a post on Truth Social, Trump stated, "I have had many talks with China about the massive amount of drugs, in particular fentanyl, being sent into the United States, but to no avail. Representatives of China told me that they would institute their maximum penalty, that of death, for any drug dealer caught doing this, but unfortunately, they never followed through, and drugs are pouring into our country, mostly through Mexico, at levels never seen before. Until such time as they stop, we will be charging China an additional 10% tariff above any additional tariff on all of their many products coming into the United States of America. Thank you for your attention to this matter." But Trump didn't stop at taxing China. He is also about to put tariffs on Mexico and Canada as an additional effort to stop drug trafficking and illegal immigration. Trump stated, "On January 20th, as one of my many first executive orders, I will sign all necessary documents to charge Mexico and Canada a 25% tariff on all products coming into the United States and its ridiculous open borders." Shortly after this, the president of Mexico announced she is stopping the migrant caravan from arriving at the southern border. She will also be putting the police on cracking down on border crossers, and she will have to use back channels to work with the Mexican cartels. And in Canada, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau seemed to indicate he'll reduce illegal immigration as well. Trudeau stated, "I had a good call with Donald Trump. We talked about some of the challenges we can work on together. It was a good call. This is something we can do." Now, I believe both countries are going to jump at this faster than you and I could even imagine. Just last week, Justin Trudeau admitted one of the big mistakes of being prime minister was that he allowed too many illegal immigrants into the country. My guess is he's only saying this because he's about to lose his election to his conservative counterpart, but we'll see what they end up doing. Look, while Trump's tariffs may temporarily increase inflation, I believe it's the right thing to do. We can't have millions and millions of people illegally coming into the country. We can't have murderers and rapists coming into the country. And we can't have fentanyl killing our children and grandchildren. If others don't follow our rules, they should face high costs. The major benefit to tariffs is that by taxing foreign goods, we encourage more local production, which helps reduce trade deficit. As of now, the U.S. imports more than it exports, which means we aren't producing as much as we should. We are literally selling jobs to other countries, and this needs to be stopped, even if there is a temporary price increase. Now, even though this is all good news, Chinese embassy spokesperson Liu Pengguai tried to convince the world it was a bad idea. Pengguai stated about the issue of U.S. tariffs on China. China believes that China-U.S. economic and trade cooperation is mutually beneficial in nature. No one will win a trade war or a tariff war. Now, of course, they would say this because they don't want things to become more expensive for them, but that's what is going to happen if they want to do business in the United States of America. And this literally brought in hundreds of billions of dollars to our country. And so it is a weapon that Trump is going to have to wield in order to stop the trafficking, illegal immigration, and the drug trafficking as well. Now, what Pyongyang likely doesn't want to admit is the fact that simply threatening tariffs is something enough to get a country to act, because countries know that Trump is serious. They could very well make a deal with Trump before he even gets into office, so these tariffs are never implemented. I think that is exactly what's going to happen. With that being said, some still view this as a gamble. Now, do you think Trump's tariff threats are going to be a good thing or a bad thing? Will this hurt America or ultimately help America? I would love to hear from you over in the comments. Now, I can tell you firsthand that Mexico is not thrilled. In fact, one person said a 25% tariff would crush our business here in Mexico. And this is exactly what President Trump is counting on. Not because he wants to destroy businesses, but because these business owners and their employees will begin to harass the president of Mexico. And then boom, that's how you get something to end. Like, imagine if the CEO of Apple and Microsoft and Nvidia and Facebook and all of those people started harassing President Trump. It would get his ear, right? That's exactly what he's counting on up in Canada as well as down in Mexico. So I definitely think that this is a temporary thing that he is going to have to start doing. But he has said he will do tariffs as high as 100% if Mexico does not believe that he is dead serious about stopping the cartel and about stopping the trafficking. So we'll see what ends up happening. Now that the election is finally over, some major Harris donors are breaking their silence and admitting Kamala Harris was a terrible candidate. One of them is named John Morgan from Morgan & Morgan Insurance. He appeared in an interview with Chris Cuomo on News Nation. During the interview, John Morgan stated, "If you can't run a campaign, you can't run a country. I told everybody she should not have been the nominee. She was not going to win, and she didn't win. She lost badly." So she's having a call with donors this coming week, and she'll be telling them about her political future. And she just put out a video telling everybody to keep their heads up and never let anyone take away your excitement for life. Well, she's also begging them for money. Like, why would you give that loser any money? She lost, right? So why would you give her any money? It's just crazy to think about. Now, I want to comment on this. John Morgan stated that Harris seemed to be entertaining another political run, which I assume means president in 2028. At this point, Kamala Harris needs to sweep the ashes from her dead campaign under the rug instead of trying to use them to rebuild. I quite literally believe she is one of the worst nominees we've ever seen. But back to the interview, Chris Cuomo also asked John Morgan if the dono money given to Kamala Harris was stolen. And this super lawyer said that he thinks it was, but that it was done legally. So you have one of the wealthiest Democrat donors in America saying she's a horrible candidate, stop giving her money, she needs to go away, and that she likely stole people's money. Now, he said that she did it legally. Imagine putting hundreds of thousands of dollars to fund a campaign, only to find out that they were running ads in states they knew they would never win. I mean, basically, they would have been smarter just to light $100 bills on fire. That's how fast they were burning through money, and they were doing it so stupidly. Like, why would you run ads in a state you're guaranteed to lose? Now, one user on X stated, "I like how they still can't figure out why they lost. On another note, it's got to be tough to be a Dem donor right now. At this stage, it's like burning money." Honestly, let me know over in the comments. Would you still be giving them money? Like, if Trump lost, they wouldn't keep giving him money to run for president. Like, I just can't understand why these Democrats were dumb enough to run Kamala Harris, and now they think that their donors are dumb enough to keep donating money to her. It's absolutely crazy that they would think that that is something that that people would want to do. All right, now over the past couple weeks, it seemed like President Biden is trying to force the world into World War III right before Donald Trump is sworn into office. Think about it. He literally authorized Ukraine to use American weapons to strike deep into Russia. While many people have been asking why, I believe Tucker Carlson has a possible explanation. Tucker stated those people, out of options, have decided the only way to stop Trump and having their crimes revealed is with a world war. I remain deeply concerned that this group, which includes nearly everyone in DC from both parties, wants Trump to take the country to war, either against Russia or more likely Iran. Now, during this segment, Tucker Carlson also explained how Washington, D.C. doesn't care about making the country better. They just care about the foreign policy because that's where the money is. Now, do you agree or disagree with Tucker Carlson? I think he's onto something. I think that they have a lot of crimes and a lot of sins that they want blanketed over. I believe that they want us to go into world war or to start a war with Iran so that everyone is looking the opposite direction of where we should all be looking, which is at these crooks in Washington, D.C. that steal our money and give it to other crooks in Ukraine and around the globe. But I think he's onto something. Now, this is just one big mess they're trying to tie Trump to, and Trump likely knows that. I hope Donald Trump is prepared enough for all that's about to be unleashed on him. Thankfully, it seems like he is, because he's already speaking to leaders of countries Biden was trying to anger. Now, I think things might get really ugly because, again, they have a lot to cover up, and I think they're going to do everything they can to drag us into war. Now, in international news, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has finally announced a ceasefire with Hezbollah. This happened because Israel's Security Cabinet approved a U.S. proposal for a ceasefire with Lebanon. Benjamin Netanyahu stated, "I observe all the fronts simultaneously and see the broad picture. I am determined to give our courageous soldiers every resource to keep them safe and bring us victory. Therefore, this evening, I will bring a ceasefire outline for the cabinet's approval. The length of the ceasefire depends on what happens in Lebanon. With the United States' full understanding, we maintain full freedom of military action. If Hezbollah violates the agreement and tries to arm itself, we will attack." So in essence, this is not the end of the war, but to give his soldiers a break with the ceasefire. Netanyahu specifically referred to the benefits of the ceasefire as being a breather for his soldiers and a chance to replenish their stocks. He stated, "From day 2 of the war, Hamas was counting on Hezbollah to fight by its side. With Hezbollah out of the picture, Hamas is left on its own. We will increase our pressure on Hamas, and that will help us in our sacred mission of releasing our hostages." I cannot for the life of me believe that there are still hostages, and many of them are Americans, which leads me to think, what the heck is Joe Biden doing? Why are you at the beach when there are literally crazy people that are holding Americans hostage? Now, soon after speaking from the White House Rose Garden, President Biden announced his phone call with Netanyahu. Biden stated, "Today I have some good news to report from the Middle East. I just spoke with the Prime Minister of Israel and Lebanon. I'm pleased to announce that their governments have accepted the United States' proposal to end the devastating conflict between Israel and Hezbollah. I want to thank President Macron of France for his partnership in reaching this moment. I understand that Biden wants to talk the news up, but he's making it seem like the war is over when in fact it is just a pause that will likely continue, because my guess is Hezbollah will end up attacking Israel and that will be the end of it. I don't know. We'll see. I hope these wars will come to an end. I hope that Trump will be able to get in there and work with Zelensky and Vladimir Putin. I hope he'll also be able to work with Hezbollah and Hamas and Benjamin Netanyahu to bring this thing to an end. All right, that's my update for today. Please give this video a like. I love you guys. Stay amazing, and I'll see you on the next video.